It's 3 p.m. Central European Time, and we are very happy to have you with us today for this special Christmas webinar edition. As part of our holiday tradition, we have today a gift for you. All attendees will have the chance to win a free proof of concept, which is the gift and the opportunity that we give you to experience Newired solution directly into your own environment. The lottery will be launched at the end of the webinar, so please stay with us until then. For those who have just joined, welcome, and thank you all for taking the time to join us today. Before we begin, please just take a moment to get familiar with the GoToWebinar dashboard. You will see on the panel that you have the questions section. We encourage you to use it, and we will gladly address them at the end of the webinar. Now, before we start, let me just walk you quickly through today's agenda. It's going to be an interactive session, but we will start by having a look into the DAP market and how it went in 2025. We will then put the spotlights on the Copilots and continue with the live demo. And then we will have a forward-looking discussion into how DAPs and Copilots will merge in the future. The webinar will close with a real example of a successful customer. And last but not least, we will announce the winner of the proof of concept. I'm Loredana Stajko from Newired, and I'm pleased to introduce today's speakers, Stefano Rizzo, CEO of Newired, and Guido Pifferi, a product manager at Newired. So without further ado, I will pass now the stage to Stefano. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lori. While we shift to the presentation, let me make a very quick introduction. What you're saying, Lori, is perfect. Here I have my presentation.
I can see it.
Yeah, you can see it? Okay. Yep. Actually, the idea of this conversation, it's a kind of family conversation inside Newired, came from a question that I was asking to our product manager, Guido, some time ago, which is AI copilots are starting being active inside digital technology. And we do build and sell a technology which helps users in onboarding into digital tools and in giving relief to customer support and also to reinforce processes on digital tools. So the question is, should we worry about AI copilots, and what should we learn, or how we do, let me say, compare to that? So I was asking this question to Guido, and I thought, well, this is a pretty interesting discussion that could be shared with our friends, customers, and partners. So here we are today. I'd like to focus with some quick data just to start. We do use a lot of tools. Companies use really a lot of tools, and with a spending just on SaaS technologies in the range of $1.4 thousand US per each employee, and a lot of licenses are actually unused, 25%. Each company maintains from 100 to 400 different applications, depending on size and sector, and each user need to use between 30 and 40 applications per day. That's very complex, and this is the kind of complexity that digital adoption and AI copilots try to lower somehow. So at the end of the day, this complexity means low adoption, and this low adoption has some reasons. First of all, because software products are purchased before the adoption is planned. So there is really no planning about introduction of these tools and training. Training is ineffective most of the time. And also companies don't have any telemetry in understanding who is using what and which kind of features, which kind of products. And also digital processes are very complex and there is a lack of guidance in tools. So it looks like that both digital adoption and AI Copilot tend to answer to this request. At the end of the story, we can consider that between the poor use of licenses and the low knowledge in users, we have roughly 40% of digital waste, which means 40% of digital tools or digital features are unused. A few minutes ago, so about spending on SaaS, how many applications and how many applications maintained by companies and how many applications are used by each employee. Here are the reasons for low adoption I was citing. So software purchase before adoption is planned, training is ineffective or incomplete, and digital processes are very complex. And here I was with my talk now saying that there is one key figure, which is 40% of potential impact of the digital waste. And this is exactly the point where both AI copilots and the digital adoption tools try to give an answer into. I was also searching some data, and looks like that the copilots are getting everywhere, but enterprise-wide adoption is not so automatic. In fact, a recent research from BCG says that frontline employees don't really use AI tools. Just 50% of them use these tools. We have pretty good adoption by managers and high leaders in companies, but the end users are not so familiar with copilots or AI technology. So on top of this, I was asking Guido, can you show me what is a copilot? And so this question is for you now, Guido. Can you show us what does an AI copilot do?
Sure. But now let's start first maybe with the definition. Let's find out which are the correct words to describe a copilot. The practical definition today, I think, when people say copilot, is usually referring to an assistant that lives inside a single application and that works mainly at the level of the content of the said application. That means that it can be used in generating text, can summarize documents, can answer some questions, can retrieve some information, and sometimes it can perform a specific task in place of the user. But in many cases, I'd say it's essentially an evolved manual that it gives you a suggestion or a piece of information at the right moment, but let's say the execution of the process is still fully on the user when there are no automations ready. And even when there are automations ready, the conversational approach to activate them is just not the best user experience out there. So I'd say that copilots are extremely useful for just-in-time assistance, but it's not, let's say, it's not the same as a driving adoption or ensuring compliance of your processes, or ensuring that the tasks are done right from the beginning to the end. Now, let's make this more concrete. Let me show you something. Let me show, and now you should be able to see my screen. So what you see right now is a pretty popular platform that is HubSpot, and HubSpot releases brand new Copilot that is called Breeze. So the typical benefits that it offers can be summarized in being able to generate some content faster than human can generate by itself using the LLM. It has also the ability to summarize some information and also to answer some questions from the user that are asked in using a human language, and in general is able to help users to start doing something, but with some limitation that we will see later. Let's say Breeze has a dual approach. One is conversational, and here I'll show you that I can ask, how do I, for example, I create a new contact. And this is the conversational approach that can be useful to retrieve some information about HubSpot itself and its processes. Like, for example, as you can see now, I retrieved the information about how to create a new contact inside HubSpot. And then it has, let's call it a prompt approach. Let's say the prompts are the automations that HubSpot prepared for his end users. And as you can see, they might be useful for a quick task, but let's say the devil is in the details. And for example, many of the details that I can add to my contact, if I, for example, click here on add new contact, as you can see, it is helpful for me just to provide the basics of the contact creation, but many details cannot be edited. And moreover, I cannot edit, for example, a contact that is already there inside my database. So,
Guido, I have a question.
Yep.
Can you train this with your own knowledge?
Let's say partially you can. So first of all, speaking specifically for Breeze, you can upload some documentation, but always speaking for Breeze, it must be related and attached to some objects on the CRM. And not all the knowledge base, the knowledge spread around an organization is about some contact on a CRM. And we are also speaking about a pretty advanced Copilot. So Breeze is, I think, one of the top class assistants out there, but the majority of the other Copilots cannot expand their knowledge base in a custom way. Then there is also the fact that, let's say, the knowledge in the organization usually is scattered across wikis, across tickets, PDFs, notes. It can refer to different platforms. And one Copilot that is nested inside just one application, usually it cannot unify them. And other than that, it doesn't read the context, but gives you the answers that are usually unrelated to the context in which the user is. Then there is also a security reason, because the pilot does not run on-prem, and the sensible data is going to be exposed in this way. And finally, I'd say there is there's another limitation that the Copilot at the very end is not able to give precise operational instructions. It's more or less a summary of the steps that you can follow doing a task.
So, but I mean, can you adapt the content in the Copilot upon the specific processes? We know that most of applications are highly configurable in terms of business processes. Every company works differently. Otherwise, every company would make the same product, right? So, due to the fact that most of the products can be customized and with processes and configurations, can you adopt a Copilot to these configurations?
So this is where my honest answer would be not really. So as you can see right now in this glimpse of a chat here, Breeze is giving me the basic, the standard approach for contact creation, but usually when inside an organization someone does something and for example it creates some content that can be then useful for another employee, it has to follow some let's say internal rules or even best practices, and those best practices cannot be given by a copilot of this kind, because this is just the standard approach for these specific tasks.
I see, but I guess that you might at least monitor the behavior of users, so that this copilot can also help companies in understanding if the tools are used in the right way or are used at all. Is that possible?
Here again, I'd say no. I'd say that actually with copilots, you get too late that something has been done wrong when it's too late to change it, and you cannot understand where this happened and why this happened, because copilots are just assistants, or let's say, as I said before, advanced manuals that stays there that interface with the end user, but not with the administrator of those processes.
But I guess that if they guide users, at least are able to guide you step by step inside the application and show you click here, click there, right?
Not completely, or at least, as you can see again from this chat here, so it tries to give me the step-by-step approach, but it's not a step-by-step that reflects on the actual UI. It's more of a task list. And for those specific goals, I'd say that today the digital adoption platform is still the product that unify all those needs and deliver all the needs that were contained in your questions. For example, now let me show you a really, let's say, a similar need that is explicit here in this chat, but in another way. So here I will show you how a digital adoption platform can cover the same user need, but in a different way. For example, here I am in another CRM, that is Suite CRM, and here I have ready a journey that is a step-by-step guide, an interactive step-by-step guide that is about how to create a new account. So here, what I can do is to play my journey, and as you can see, there is no clutter on the screen, there is no chat, there is no task list, but there is just a more effective way to guide me through a process in the way that is meant to be done. So here now I am tasked to click on create, and then to click on create a new account. And now I'm tasked with filling up my form. This form can be also validated while I fill it in. For example, here I am asked to add a specific website, not just whatever website I can think of, and all the other fields can be validated by the digital adoption platform. So the digital adoption platform can tell me if I'm doing something wrong upfront. So this is why maybe digital adoption platform are better to ensure the process conformity. And now let's pretend I filled up everything. I will click on next, and then I will click on save. So now, oh, actually, as you can see, I did something wrong because I forgot to add a mandatory field, and the digital adoption platform reminded me. So I will do it now. Next, and save. So this is, I'd say, a different approach to for assisting users in performing right the tasks that they need to perform. Another thing that digital adoption platform can do is to provide the very same knowledge, let's say, corporate knowledge that usually also the copilots can provide, but in a different way, in a more customized way. Because, for example, with the digital adoption platform, we can add piece by piece all the corporate knowledge that is spread around the organization. That can be on a learning center online, that can be on some documentation that is spread around the organization network. And that knowledge is not referring only to one platform, it's referring to the whole organization. So in this case, for example, I asked, in this case, I am on a Polarion environment, and I asked, guide me how to create a work item, that is the basic building block of the Polarion and basically every ALM. And here I get my journeys, so my interactive guides that are played on screen, but also some article that can come from different repositories of information. Like, for example, here this work item overview is coming from the original, the Polarion knowledge base, the learning center, but it can come from another source. It can come, for example, from a source that explained me how to specifically create that work item. That can be maybe a best practice, how to, for example, how to shape my user story, the best practice that is used, or the micro rule that is used internally to create that user story. So you can merge them together. And yeah, so this is, let's say, a completely different approach, and an approach that better answers your question, Stefano.
And I guess that this is what we were showing about the step-by-step guidance. I guess it's totally possible to be configured on corporate processes, right?
Yes, totally. Basically, you can really manage every little tiny detail of the processes, and you can bring their, as you say, the micro rules, best practices. You can bring their different kind of documentation. And another thing that digital adoption platform can do, and that is usually tackled also from the copilots, but in a more shallow way, I would say, is the ability to provide also a structure for the onboarding. Because with, for example, with a digital adoption platform, you can prepare a learning path for your new users to be sure that they follow that path that is made for newcomers. For example, here with my playbooks, I can create a task list, a checklist of guides that will teach me the basics. While with copilots, usually you are more alone in discovering the first steps of your platform. And on top of that, digital adoption platform can also integrate with learning management systems. And so if you already have a way to provide a structure to the onboarding for your end users, a digital adoption platform can be the operative hand of that LMS to teach your end users how to start.
Can you also monitor how your users are learning or using the technology?
Yeah, this is, let's say, another core feature of digital adoption platform. As you can see here, this is a dashboard for the analytics that are about how the end users of my application interact either with the guides that are being created for them in, and like, let's say, in a quantitative way, but also in a qualitative way. So here, as you can see, it's me failing over and over some some journeys, and here you have also the details about where that happened. So where is the friction in your environment? But also you get some data also about how your end users really use your application, the real application. So not only the guides, but the application itself. So here, as you can see, I have some data about the time spent on specific pages on my application or applications, because let's remind ourselves that digital adoption platform can deploy across applications. So it's not only about one application like the Copilots usually do. So here I can see where in the entirety of my digital environment, where the friction is, where the problem really happens, and try to solve them.
Thank you, Guido, very much. But so I can see that there is a clear difference between the two environments, of course, in this discussion. Do you have an idea how both AI copilots and digital adoption world might evolve in future?
That's a good question. So my idea, so copilots will definitely improve. There's no question on that. But today, it's actually very hard to find one that works reliably across complex enterprise scenarios, or to find one that, for example, could work on legacy application. Because now I'm showing you Breeze from HubSpot that works smoothly on HubSpot, but has no clue how to work in other applications. And think about the legacy applications. So there's no way to bring something there usually. And I'd say again, digital adoption platforms can do that in some way. So I'd say in the future we are going to see, I think, two connected movements. Copilots will try to become a little bit more process aware, context aware even, and we try to understand better the real ways in which the processes are done. Meanwhile, the digital adoption platforms will maybe integrate more with AI and AI features to become more predictive first, and also more proactive. So let's say, obviously, I have no clue how the entire industry will move. I can speak for Newired. So for Newired, going into the next year, we have obviously some plans for our AI. So that basically align with this view that I gave previously. So first of all, we are now exploring some ways to bring the AI directly into the runtime experience, the end user experience, and being also always aligned with our core commitment, that is the user guidance. So what we want to do is to bring some AI tool into the runtime to allow some sort of automation, maybe, but also some sort of content validation, because we believe that process conformity is really at the core of digital adoption platform adoption. The second way in which we want to improve on AI is to try to learn the processes from the expert users and try to deliver that expertise to newbies, and we will try to do that automatically. So we will try to use all the behavioral monitoring that we already do to create some guides for the less experienced users in order to automatically guide them to success. And other than that, we aim to improving the flexibility of our connection to the organization's knowledge base, because we are committed to be the only solution in the market to be able to run both on cloud and on-prem with 100% of the features. So we want to connect to every locally run AI engine, and we will try to improve this in the future. And finally, we want to improve our capability to recognize the context and be more reliable on delivering the guides when the context changes. So being able to recognize better what we can guide, the UI, the context of the end user.
Thank you very much, Guido. What you're saying looks like something that Copilots will not be able to do at all. I mean, being able to learn from users on any application and guide them on any application just by learning from experts and teaching to the others, connecting to all the resources in the company and learn from all the resources and guarantee maximum privacy looks like something that the digital copilots will not be able to do in the short term. So wrapping up our discussion, I was taking some notes while you were speaking, and I think that you need to consider a digital adoption platform to be your solution. In every case, you have legacy solutions that doesn't have a copilot, that's obvious, but not every solution do have a copilot. You want to drive users step by step, and this is something that copilots cannot do. Click here, click there, and verify the content. And then also, if you want to give guidance on your own processes, it's something that copilots don't do, and you need digital adoption. If you want to monitor user adoption and issues, and also to save money on the licenses that you purchased, because not them all are in use, you need digital adoption. And if you have a cross-application unified guidance, you want to have a single place of knowledge and guiding your users, ensuring that processes are followed, and a single point of support for your users on any application, both dragging information from your knowledge base, building your content, learning from expert users. Digital adoption is the only choice. And that's probably the reason why we see that the trends in the market for the digital adoption category keeps scaling up. So in these two columns, you have two different researches about the trends in digital adoption figures in the market. And whatever you take, you can see that the projected composite growth rate is in the range of 20 to 23%. So companies are more and more investing in digital adoption whenever AI copilots are in the market. But with the digital adoption, you can have much more than that, and that's why these trends are growing in such a nice way. Last but not least, as Laurie was saying in the beginning, we are very proud in Newired to be able to demonstrate good return of investments for our customers. Here is one of our customers that testifies that thanks to digital adoption, thanks to Newired, they save 50% in training time for their employees. They also see that there is a reduction of 30% in help desk tickets. This is a reduction in the number of help desk tickets, and there is also a bigger reduction in the interaction time for each ticket, because instead of telling your users, do you see the white button, do you see that and that, you just send a link to a journey, which is the step-by-step bubbles appearing, click here and click there. Last but not least, you can ensure conformity to your processes. 40% more process conformity, which means 40% less process unconformities at audit time on your processes, on your specific processes, and not just picking some content from a manual and putting this on the screen as Copilot do. So this was all for me and for Guido. Guido, thank you very much. I think that you gave me great inspiration for why we should keep investing in digital adoption technology and where is the value for the future whenever AI copilots are in the market. And even if in the future trend, we can see that most of the things that our customers look into digital adoption are not available at all in AI copilots.